Hello, friends. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. Check out our guest, Kathryn Jones. She is a dear friend of mine. Wave, wave. And I'm so excited to have her here to spread the joy to all of my listeners and video watchers. So I can't wait for this conversation. We literally have just spent like 30 minutes just picking up, and now it's time to share the message with you. Right? And we're going to dive into what her brave secrets are all about. But first, I just want to remind you, if you love this show, if you like this podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, as well as share it with your friends. We're here to uplift and inspire, and as well as give you some, if some of that, if I can do it, you can do it energy. So I can't wait to dive into this. So let's do so. Kathryn, how are you? I'm so excited.
I'm just doing great today. Honestly, I'm talking with you, just catching up. I'm hanging out on the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. I mean, what more could I want?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And so for those new to you, I know who you are, but go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them all about your amazing business.
Sure. So my name's Kathryn Jones. I'm from Denver, currently live in Utah. And I have a business called Automate Academy, where I help people to automate their online sales. And one of the biggest ways that I do that is by helping people to use design as a means to help convert what's going on, what your products you're selling, or whatever the case is. And so actually my one of my biggest products that I have right now, which is actually kind of how Jena and I first met, was talking about this, is I have a program called CF Design School, where again, I teach people how to design just extraordinary, aesthetically extraordinary funnels that convert. Because in my mind, I mean, who cares if you have something pretty if it doesn't make you any money?
Amen.
And I have a lot of graphic designers that like hate me when I say that, but I'm a marketer at heart. And so I teach it, though. I am not that much creative. And so I teach design as a science rather than an art. And so I teach people, if you have a product or service that isn't selling, I guarantee you design's part of your issue. Or if you want to learn this skill to then sell it to help other businesses sell their own products and services, then I teach that as well. So just trying to help great ideas and great people make money selling great things, all using design.
I love it. Yeah. And I'm previously a brand designer, right? And certainly still a brand strategist at heart. I love that this is what you're talking about, because I love pretty things and I like making my stuff pretty, but yeah, at the end of the day, I want it to be effective and strategic and drive people into a decision. So yeah, I love what you're doing, and I love how you packaged it. So we'll give some more information of how they can maybe learn more about it at the end. But so tell us a little more now that we know what your business is, but I know this is not where you started. You've got a journey, you've got a story. We want to dive into like how it all came to be. And, it's like kind of drive us back to the beginning.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, don't we all have a story? I feel like it's the kind of the beauty and the curse of entrepreneurism. Like it's just a fun ride. But so this whole thing started for me. I was just going to college, just normal, living my best life. I was actually studying film. And then I went on a 18-month mission for my church to Los Angeles, actually. And it was such a good experience. And I got to meet so many people, but while I was there, I kind of got to see the good and bad of the film world. And for whatever reason, I just became totally disenchanted with it. And so I came back, and all I knew that I wanted to do was help people. And I served in Malibu and Beverly Hills, and then I served in Compton and Watts. So like I was just exposed to all different forms of life. And I really truly believe that anybody can help anyone. Like I really believe that. Yeah. But I do think that there's unique opportunity when you have money, like I think, to help different people. So literally I came back and I still had a year and a half left of school. And I was like, well, I guess I got to figure out how to not pour. Like that was like the only thing that I knew. So I was like, well, maybe I'll switch my major to business. I don't know anything about business. And my university actually denied me. They said I had too many credit hours already and that I basically needed to hurry up, finish up,
get out.
Get out of there.
You're kicked out of here.
Oh yeah. Which at the time I was like, are you kidding me right now? But in hindsight, it was the best thing, Jenna, that like could have ever happened for me, because I can just see myself just like forging down the corporate business path.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, I guess I got to figure out how to not be poor. Like I wasn't even thinking entrepreneurship. I was just thinking not be poor. Like that was it. Like if I'm going to have impact in the way that I hope, I need to get some money. So I just started reading a ton of personal finance books, which led me to investment books. And that integrated me into like their email marketing sequences, which I didn't realize at the time. All of a sudden I was just like, they were tracking me and stuff. I was like, how do they know that how are they finding me? Which like, in hindsight, I like straight up put my email address in, but I'm like, this is crazy. Like I have ads everywhere for this guy. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. We didn't know.
It's good.
And anyway,
the magic behind the system.
Magic. I know. I literally was like crazy. Anyway, through those people, they started selling me online courses.
Sure.
And so I started, and I was just really intrigued. And so I started learning about copywriting and email marketing and freelancing and how do you build a WordPress site and what is hosting and anyway, all these different things.
Right.
And at this time too, my school had denied me entrance to the business school. I'm like floating around. I'm floating in this film major. And the only thing that I know for sure that I want is so I actually grew up there. I'm one of 8 children. There's just a lot of us. God bless my parents. A lot of you. I know. And I'm telling you, my parents, they are just the coolest humans, but I loved it. I like so loved it. And I always know, so I'm not married. I don't have children right now, but like, I know that I want that because I just loved how I grew up. But so I knew that I just wanted to have significant impact inside of my home. But I also knew that I wanted to have significant impact outside of my home. Right. And I didn't know what that looked like because I had never seen it. I didn't know what that looked like. And so anyway, I'm kind of in this major and learning how to not be poor and trying to find some way to take over the world inside and outside of the 4 walls of my home. I was sold a course basically on the basics of online business and how you can like actually make recurring revenue online. And I'm telling you, Jenna, like the world stopped for me. Like truly, like I don't know what happened. I don't know if and I'm sure there are people listening that have had this happen before where it's like your soul, like it's game over. Like I was like, this is the future. And I'm like, literally like, I like telling my friends, I'm like, have you guys heard of the internet before? Like this thing is crazy. Like, oh my gosh.
Do you know what Facebook is?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I didn't take school that summer and I took off school. I was working full time. And then literally I would just come home and for 8 to 10 hours after work, I would just like geek out on my computer and just like watch every webinar in the world. And I'm paying for courses on payment plans. I'm in college. I do not have the money, but I'm just like, like hope I can make these payments, but I just knew I had to learn these things.
Wow.
And anyway, so I just became just super obsessed with kind of the basics of online business and marketing and things like that. And so I started doing some freelance, just random jobs, like all over the place, building websites for people, marketing, consulting, selling courses here and there. And I'm actually not too bad at it. But I also, especially in this space, and you could probably attest to this too, like, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, but like the internet marketing niche, there were just, even 3 years ago, were not that many women in it, especially young women.
Right.
And so if I could get on the phone with somebody, I could close them. But when they saw me, I mean, I'm still outgrowing my baby face to this day. Like, I can't quite get over it. And so
I don't want you to do. You're adorable.
Oh my gosh. And so at the time, so I'm 28 years old right now. At the time I was probably 24, 25.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I literally, unless people can hear me speak, they're like, what is this child doing here?
Right.
And so I was like, I need to find some way to give me some credibility. So I actually ended up launching a book with the intention of it to be a bestseller, just strictly for the tag. And so I just kind of reverse engineered Amazon and figured it out and launched a bestseller. And that was huge for me. And so just credibility realm. And then pretty quickly after that, I discovered this concept called funnels, which is just, if you don't know, it's like, it's an internet marketing tactic that helps to sell things. So it's essentially a series of web pages that you build and construct together that kind of hold a customer's hand through the sales process. And so it feels a lot less overwhelming for somebody to come into your world. Anyway, and what's really interesting is when you kind of give people one decision per page, when you give them less choices, they actually buy more. And so you can just explode people's sales through this.
Agreed.
So I discovered this concept. I'm like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like downing books, and finally I have this like structure and strategy for how to understand it. And so I just dove all in. I became a certified internet marketer, like specifically with an emphasis in funnels. And I got really good at building funnels and really good at helping people sell stuff through funnels. And I, to be honest, I was doing really well for myself and loving it. I mean, it was so fun. I mean, you could just, I would build on the weekend and then just do whatever I wanted. I mean, I could, you know what I mean? I could make $5-10 grand a project that would take me 2 days. I'm like, great. This is easy money. It was fun, easy money, fun money. Right. And I really loved it. But then interestingly, about 1.5 years ago, I kind of had this come to Jesus where it was brought to my remembrance that the entire reason why my soul kind of caught on fire about this stuff was because if I built it right, then I could be an amazing present mother and wife one day and also take over the world. And the business that I was currently building was amazing, but it was still time for money, if that made sense. Yeah. And so even though it was time for a lot of money, it was still time for money. And so I knew I needed to pivot and shift. And so in the model that I was doing things. And so I just thought, well, what am I good at? I'm really good at building funnels that convert. And the method by which I do it is design. And I had a pretty unique story because I don't know how to code or I don't know Photoshop. I've like never taken a graphic design course in my life. Right. I just kind of bootstrapped it. I just like figured it out and just got really formulaic about how to do design rather than having it be this kind of nebulous, like, you know, design, art. Just my mind doesn't work like that. And so I thought, well, I have a pretty unique approach to this. And I bet a lot of people have this pain point. And did a ton of research and, you know, I mean, people do, I knew they did because they paid me a bunch of money to fix it. And so I just repackaged it. So rather than me doing it for them, I teach people how to do this for their own businesses or learn the skill and help other businesses like I was. And now I just sell it through my course called CF Design School. And so that is kind of the crazy many iterations journey of how we've gotten to where we are today. But oh yeah, it's so fun. It like literally is just like, I was just like right before this, I was on a call with one of my students because literally she just hit the she has made $10,000 worth of sales. She's like super excited and she did it in like a few months time. It's just like, wow. And she had never made a cent online, learned this skill, now selling it. Anyway, so it's just so fun. It's just good, clean family funnel fun.
It's just family fun. This is the family show.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you've said so many amazing nuggets. And I think what I caught on to was, or want to anchor for people, is following the curiosity, right? Paying attention to where you get curious, paying attention to where your soul goes, you know, lights on fire, and not losing that connection. And so you said, you know, it's like remembrance of what that is and where you're, you know, what really matters. Cause I was just sharing before the show, is I have gone through my own like kind of metamorphosis over the last year or so, and realizing that I had lost the why and the connection and who I'm all about, you know, and then making sure that you follow the breadcrumbs from there. And that's what I hear in your story is like, you know, but there's something inside of you that knows, and this is what I want you to speak to, is like, where do you find the gut and faith, which is my new hashtag gut and faith, to trust the curiosity, to follow the curiosity, to follow the next step, and not get hooked in, because a lot of people stop themselves in their tracks. They let the fear come in or go, I'm not good enough. I can't do that. They can do that, but I can't do that. Who am I? Right. And although you're young, you know, it's like even maybe that added to, you know, or someone in your age range, I will say, Because I was in that too. I had a lot to prove when I was younger, only because people were saying, you're so young, you're so young. And I'm like, and I can do this, like I had to be the brave one. Right.
Totally.
And so can you speak to that a little bit? Like, how would you advise someone that gets in their own way about trusting their gut and following with faith and things like that?
That's such a good question. I think it speaks really perfectly to what you just said when you asked the question, like people pose the question to themselves, like, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, who am I to do this? And I think one of the most powerful things that I have ever done is actually sit down and answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
It's who am I? Like, actually, who am I? And if somebody says, who are you? Like, I literally have an answer, right? Like, I'm Kathryn Jones. I am brave. I'm always learning, and I'm a light to the world. That's who I am.
Nice.
And so if I really feel like at my core, even though maybe the shell of me is still trying to learn that is the core of Kathryn.
Yeah.
And when I come, and you feel it, right? Like, you come up against this hesitation or when you feel like you want to shrink, like it happens, right? Any opportunity for growth, I think it's just, you have to retrain yourself to literally stand up instead of go like this. And what's really interesting is I think when we feel that hesitation or that wall or that trigger, to instead of shrink, but to instead change the reaction to asking the question, who am I? And literally filtering your actions through whoever you are, right? And I just know for me, when I say I'm Kathryn Jones, I'm brave, I'm always learning, I'm a light to the world, I choose different than when I play this game, this small, who am I, lowly me, little 28-year-old girl. It's like, that's stupid. Like, that's so dumb.
That's just a narrative. It's just a story.
Just a narrative, totally. And so it's really interesting to see, like, whether it's like, hey, I'm going to go speak on this huge stage, or if it's like, what Facebook ad am I going to push today?
Exactly.
Like, honestly, it's all the same. If you filter every single question, how am I on this podcast today? How am I going to show up on this phone call with my mom today? How am I going to approach this hard conversation with a client? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to show up in this vlog? What is this Instagram post going to look like? Am I actually going to pitch myself to this person? Like, if I can filter those things through, I'm brave, I'm always learning, I'm a light to the world, then I'll show up in the true version of Kathryn.
Yeah.
But until I really sat down and asked that question of, like, who am I to actually do this? I would almost always consider it like, I'm small, right? But now I'm like, who am I? I'm like, freak it. I got it all written out. It's everywhere in my life, right? Like, I'm brave. I'm always learning. I'm a light to the world. And
amazing.
Yeah, I filter everything through those things.
Yeah.
And it helps me to show up in a way that would make me proud of how I'm showing up.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, you just gave, the kind of the how-to, because I know people, and I think that's huge. Like, I don't think we answer the question. And then I think we ask the question of ourselves, and either we don't dig deep enough, we stay at the surface answer, or, or then we second guess the surface answer. Like, really, is that who I am? Like, how do you answer that question? And if we really just are willing to sit with it. One of the things I say now is that brave mastery is about facing yourself. It's about willing to look at the ugly truth and also the beautiful truth that lives within it. And so it's like, if you can face yourself and ask those hard questions or loving questions or brave questions of ourselves, right, then the answers and the power to, like, step into our fears, step into our power, step into our potential, etc., can really happen. But until we are willing to look at it, then we're just like living on autopilot or living through actions that are take. I mean, I was just telling you, I was like, all of last year I was making decisions from desperation and fear and frustration and impatience. That's not who I am, right? I wasn't fully making decisions from the place of who I am.
Yeah.
And so I had to remember. And so for you, it's like sharing your, like, a year and a half when you kind of had to stop and pause and kind of say, like, reassess and see where you are with the business, and you're trading time for dollars, and not that that's a bad place to start. I started there, right? Get the money coming in.
Some people like that. Some people, that's what they want. It's great.
Yeah.
It just didn't fit what I wanted to build.
Correct. And I think that's great too, because I do want people to get that they can do whatever they want that fits them, right? And yet if there's a bigger impact, obviously time is limited. Time is a limited resource. We don't have a lot of it. So, and I get why you want to make a bigger impact and automate the whole thing.
Yes. Yes.
Automator, you're an automator.
Yes.
So this is great. And so when and you may have already answered this to some level, but I love asking the question, what is the thing that you're most afraid of next? Like, what's next?
This is such a good question. Maybe I can share an experience. How's that?
Absolutely. However you want to answer it.
I think you really hit it on the head that being a brave master is looking at the ugly and the good things about yourself. And I had this experience the other day. I'm just a Jesus-loving lady. Think he's a great guy. And I was reading
him all the time.
Yeah, what a good dude. I just love I really do. I'm really grateful for my Savior. But so I was reading my scriptures the other day, and I came across this story about this man and essentially this prophet, and he had neglected to talk to God in the way that he should have. And so it talks about how God came down and answered and the word he used was chastised him for 3 hours. And when I was reading this particular story, I was like, 3 hours is like a long time. I'm trying to think like when I was little and like my mom would chastise me, you know what I mean? But like trying to think logistically, like how long did that last? Like 20 seconds. Like, Kathryn, don't be an idiot. Like go spend time out. And I was like, okay, you're right. But like, it's over. Like, I mean, how long legitimately is the chastising? And so, and so as I was reading that in an effort to like really try to align my actions with this person is that I'm trying to be, I thought, I mean, kind of scary, but maybe I should just like go be still genuinely for 3 hours and just say, give it to me. Like, I'm in a place where I'm willing and wanting to change. I want to see the ugly so I can tweak it. I want to see the good so I can leverage it. But like, I genuinely want to see the truth that is me. And so I just, I'm in beautiful Utah. So I just drive up to this mountain range, and it was a really interesting experience to be still, to just be still.
Yes.
And force myself to focus just simply on connecting with a higher power and in trying to see me and my actions as he would. And it was really interesting what came out of that. I think I realized in a lot of ways I was probably too hard on myself. But it was also interesting. I got a lot of great clarity about things I needed to change if I was going to be the instrument that I think he wants me to be.
Right.
And I will say, though, the things that were asked of me are not small.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that it's like, go change the world, but it's like, you need to change your opinion significantly of this certain person. You need to not view them how I view them. And even things like that, it's like, I need to totally alter that. And that is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And doing different things like that. And so I think when you ask the question of, what's the next big scary thing? I think it is willingly submitting, like a constant committal to looking at the ugly and to changing the ugly. It's a scary thing to look at that.
Huge.
Especially too, because I think a lot of our ugly, we don't mean it.
No, because it's not aligned with our true self.
Right. We don't mean it. Like, I don't mean to be an idiot or ignorant about stuff. I don't know. I'm just bopping sometimes, And so, but I really did feel that very strong impression when I finished that experience that like, this is not a one-time thing. And you need to create space every day in your day to be still and to confront the ugly. This is not like a, you know what I mean? Like a quarter life figure it out and I'll see you in 25 years. This is like, if you're really going to become this brave master, if you're really going to become Kathryn Jones, then this is going to take intentional and consistent tweaking and refining. And you're going to need to show up and do the things. And I think that is equally terrifying and liberating all at the same time. And so
always is. Yes.
That has been something that I have been working on for the last few months, and it has been terrifying and liberating.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm happy.
We're trying.
I love it.
So,
I love it. No, this is such a perfect answer. And I mean, all answers are perfect, but it just really speaks to, I mean, of course it speaks to where I am too. That's the story you shared, because, you know, literally like 6 months ago, I slammed myself into kind of a spiritual breakdown and a physical breakdown and a mental and emotional like wall. And the only thing that got me out of it was my willingness to get quiet. And
weird how that works.
It works. And it was funny because like the weekend before I really hit that breakdown and that breakthrough was, I was sitting there going, I think I need a silent retreat. Where can I find a silent retreat? I still haven't been on one. I'm open to it. You know, and I'm like, but that would be terrifying to sit quiet that long and be able to hear everything I'm saying to myself and my higher self and my higher source and, you know, God within, etc. And it's like, but that's where the answers are. Yeah. That's where the liberation is. That's where the gift and the gold and all of that is. And so I started meditating daily. And so I got quiet, and I've been meditating pretty much daily. I'll be honest, it's probably like 90%, but pretty good from nothing, like never meditating, right?
Totally.
And the first month was like the hardest period of time to stick with it, because I was crying almost every time. I was so aware of the ugly truths that I had to like be, and that's what showed up is the truth. It's not even ugly, but it had an ugly cry tied to it. Yeah, but it was the truth.
Happens sometimes.
Yes, exactly. And I just hope people listening are encouraged by this, because it is what I'm speaking to more and more, is like to really become who you have to become in order to serve the way you want to serve, in order to be what you say you want, right? And because having what you want is not about having or doing, it's about being. Mm-hmm. And the only way to get to the being is to like clear the cobwebs, to clear out the junk. And the only way that I have found so far in my years is to get quiet.
Yeah.
Is to be able to hear it.
I think the most empowering thing, like I think the liberating thing of being still is that you walk away with truth. But I think the empowering thing is that after that moment of stillness, you literally have the choice if you're going to do something about it.
Correct.
That's where the empowerment comes from.
That's where the brave is.
And that is where the brave is. Like you're still and you see the things, and then you stand up and then you do stuff about it. And I truly do think that is where the empowerment comes from. And so whether you're building a business or needing to have a conversation with your kid or needing to look yourself in the mirror about drinking too much Diet Coke, like whatever it is, right? Like
or worse.
Or worse, yes. Or worse, exactly. But like I do think that is one of the most amazing things and gifts about us as human beings, is we have the ability to choose to be.
Yeah, 100%. We are always with choice, right?
Yes.
Yes. But I think, and to that note, it's like we're not free to choose until we actually uncover what's there to be chosen. So if, and I'm with you, what came out of it, and you know, I'm moving across the country, and maybe by the time this airs, I'll be there. And then everybody will see me in a whole new background. But that idea, that spark of inspiration didn't come until I got quiet. I couldn't even hear it. And then I had a huge choice. Do I tell my husband that I heard this? Do I actually consider it as an option? Do I ask my daughter if she wants to go? like I'm gonna like change all kinds of things in this moment if I move forward with this truth that I just heard, and I did it. and we're on our way. And we all agreed as a family, and it brought our family closer. And it's bringing, I mean, it is like the bravest thing we can do, right? And so it's just, I love that we're having this share, because I don't know if enough people are talking about what happens in the silence. And I think we avoid the silence because if we get quiet, we have to face ourselves. We have to deal with the things that are true, and we have to eat, and then we have to make choices, and we have to feel the emotions of not making the choice and of making the choice. But it's like, because they're not necessarily easy. And so, yay, like, I'm so excited to see what unfolds for you, because you're willing to get silent. Like, that's huge.
Only good things.
Join me in the meditation room.
Let's go. Headspace app. We love that guy.
Headspace, yes. I use Headspace and Calm, so whichever one.
Oh, yeah. But
Love
yeah,
them.
what more could you need? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come hang out with you. I think what you're building in this movement that's going on is it's important.
Thank you. Yes, and you as well. So don't stop. Even if it changes, even if it shifts and grows, you are on like a path of expansion and helping tons of people, as you already are. So so while we're here, just please share with them exactly how they can connect with you. And if I know you have something free that you were going to offer our audience.
Yeah, totally. I love Instagram. Come hang out with me on Instagram. I'm just at Automate Academy. So you can come see me there if you're interested in automating your routines, businesses. Basically, if you want to get automated results, I can help you out with that. And then, hang out with me there. But I mean, I'm everywhere. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Like, just whatever you want to do. Come be friends with me. And but the thing that I did want to give you guys for free, because I know a lot of people listening to this are entrepreneurs, are business owners, or are wanting to get into the online space. So I want to actually give you a free training all about what it is that I teach, which is how to use design to explode the sales of either your own products or learn this skill to do this for other people. So if you go to cfdesignschool.com, then you'll see there's a free training there just ready and waiting for y'all to just come hang out with us in the beautiful world of design hacking. We'd love to have
play. And I've seen it, and it's an amazing training. So you give a lot of good information and just amazing stuff that people can use. So yes, and we'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. One final question. What do you want to change in the world? If this was your last interview, if this was your last opportunity to share, what is that thing that you want the world to know? Don't mean to stump you.
Can I ask for clarification on the question?
Absolutely. Yes.
What do I want the world to know, just in general, like a truth, or know about me, or truth. Like what?
Truth. Just like, what do you know? What is it that you want the world to know? If this was your last chance to tell them, what would you want them to walk away with?
You have the power to choose.
Say it again, because you cut up a minute.
I would say that you have the power to choose.
Awesome.
I think that's
simple. And I love it. And on that note, all right, Kathryn, I love having you here, and thank you for just being a part of my life and in general. And to all of our listeners, please share this, review this, let us know what you think. Let us know how it's changed your life or your perspective. And until then, let's go get our brave on. Talk to you soon. Yay. Thank you.